Hi everyone. If you watch my channel, you know that I've already told you there is a decrease in the number of seats for state-nominated 491 and 190 visas, and this decrease is very significant. So as a migrant who intends to migrate to Australia, you might want to be interested in the question, why is this occurring? Why is this happening in post-COVID times where Australia has promised a bigger migration program, not a smaller one, and now state and territory nominations have been cut by roughly 70%? So, in my opinion, the simple answer to this is there is a lot of pressure on the party in power from the trade unions and the like. The Labour Party listens to trade unions. Trade unions have a lot of power in Australia. They represent blue-collar workers, that is, ordinary people doing ordinary jobs, the trades, etc. And they have a lot of power over the Labour Party. The trade unions have a lot of also can or cannot support the Labour Party in the election. They represent the workforce. They are very important for the Labour Party. Now, let's look at the situation in Australia. Australia doesn't build many homes. In fact, it builds less homes than it needs. The situation has been pretty dramatic in COVID and post-COVID times, with the builders going bust because of the cost of material and the workforce problems and the shortages of materials. We've had protracted timelines of construction. We've had builders going bankrupt, not being able to complete homes. The rental market is very tight. The vacancy rate, the recent announcement is that the vacancy rate for rental properties in Australia is at 1.1%. 1.1% of all the properties in Australia were empty as of yesterday. I think that's end of September data, right? So rental market is extremely tight. Australians are living in tents. This is true. This is not a horror movie. This is unfortunately true because we don't build enough homes. Some people find it hard, even people who have jobs find it hard to get a rental. When there is an inspection, when people come to see the property that is offered on the market, there's a long queue of people wanting to get a property for one property. Sometimes you might have 20, 30, or in some places up to 50 people trying to get that property for rent. So rental market is extremely tight. As you can assume, a lot of people fail and can't get the rent. A lot of people end up on the streets. A lot of people end up living in tents. This is unfortunately true. So in times like these, the Labour Party is under a lot of pressure. One of its concepts was the Big Australia program, but I think it has to give up with that concept, at least for now, when the infrastructure doesn't catch up, when the roads don't catch up, when the construction of new homes doesn't catch up with immigration, and when the pressure from trade unions is extreme. You need to understand, trade unions are very conservative. They have a lot of power in the Labour Party and they are completely anti-migration. They don't want migration to Australia to occur. The less migration, the better for the trade unions. But then remember, there's another side of the game. Always. There are employers who can't find workforce. There are extreme skilled shortages. If you get to an Australian emergency, 3, 4, 5, 7 hours of waiting in the emergency department until you get help in the emergency department. It's as bad as that with healthcare workers. Same, we want new homes to be built. We don't have any workforce. We don't have any labor to build new homes. And it's very, very tough in almost all of the industry. So this pressure from the trade unions don't want immigration. They want blah, 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 migrants take the jobs from Australian workers. Not true. Not true. But the Labour Party has to listen to the trade unions because the trade unions have so much power over the Labour Party. So there you go. This is the tension. The businesses needing the workforce, the companies that have to shut down or reduce their operations because they have no workers on one side, and trade unions putting pressure on the current government and asking the current government to reduce immigration on the other side. Well, so far the trade unions have won, but I'd say that this is all temporary. This is a temporary win of the trade unions, and we'll see what happens next. And of course, remember, even with the most competitive program ever, you're still able to secure a seat for yourself if you're the best migrant. If you have skills on the list, if you have a very high level of English proficiency, if you have a good CV, if you have good educational credentials, lots of employment experience, lots of work experience that you can validly claim points for, all this creates a profile that would help you to be chosen, even in these extremely harsh conditions where state and territory quotas have been slashed by about 70 to 75%, putting them at pre-COVID levels or even lower than pre-COVID levels. So the most competitive, it was always competitive. Australian migration was always competitive. It has become even more competitive now. And of course, I will be updating you further on how things happen. But it's always good to make your first move. Get it done today. Make your CV today. Prove your English today. Take PTA academic today. Do a skills assessment today. Step by step. And maybe while you do this, the political landscape changes. Australia has seen ups and downs in immigration numbers. For political reasons again. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel.